Good morning, viewers. Welcome to Elim TV Live. My name is teacher Edwin Yose. I'm a teacher by profession, and I teach at a school called Katsam School, which is at Umoja Inako. I welcome you today, and I'll teach you a standard 7 lesson known as water. The last time I was here, I taught you on water again, and I will continue as I promised to be back. So the topic today, it's a science lesson, and we shall be looking at this topic known as water. Water, as I said earlier, it is a topic that is learned all over, beginning from standard 1 up to class 8. And in standard 1, I just want to go for a recap where we left under this topic called water. In class 1, we learned about sources of water. And I believe I taught you about the sources of water. And a reminder for those who are not there, water, we have got different sources. The main source of water is rain. And then I said there, tap is not a source of water. The other thing that we learned in standard 1, we said that we have got this thing called characteristics of pure water. The characteristics of pure water, we said water that is pure. It is free from germs or pathogens. Water that is pure, it is colorless, it is odorless, and it is tasteless. In standard 2, under this topic called water, we learned about ways of making water safe for drinking. Ways of making water safe for drinking. And on this one, we said that we have got 2 ways. The first one, I said it is by filtering. Filtering water helps just to remove dirt. Filtered water is not good for drinking. The other way of making water safe for drinking, I said it is by boiling. Boiling simply helps us to do what? To kill germs, and it is the best method of making water safe for drinking. In standard 3, underwater, I said that we learned about ways of transporting water. We have different ways of transporting this water from one place, from the source to where you can consume it. And we said you can use a truck. We have got a water tanker, a special vehicle that we use. We have got many, many other things that we use them. In standard 4, we still learned about water, and that's where I focused mostly. In class 4, there was this thing called we have got different uses of water. Uses of water, and we have got around 5 uses of water. The first one we said we have got use of water at home. We can use water at home simply by drinking. We can drink water when you are traveling, but in the syllabus, we group use of water at home as a use of water. Drinking is use of water at home, not by transporting or anything else. That one you must get it right. We have got another use of water in industry, industrial uses of water. We had got transportation use of water. We have got also recreational use of water, which I mentioned earlier. This one is just use of water for enjoyment. And then we have got also use of water in the farm uses of water. These are some of the uses of water that I taught you previously. In standard 5, I said this lesson underwater, this topic called water was not tested, so we go back to class 6. In standard 6, we shall learn about waterborne diseases. Waterborne diseases, and in the syllabus, we just have 3 of them. the waterborne diseases that we have got one, typhoid, and this one you must know the causative agent is bacteria. Another waterborne disease that is in the syllabus, we have got cholera. Cholera, the main causative agent again, it is called bacteria. And then lastly, the one that is in the syllabus, we have Bilharzia. Bilharzia. Bilharzia, the causative agent, we call them Bilharzia flukes or Bilharzia worms. Many learners, when they are here, you realize that they test some books, they place their dysentery or amoeba dysentery. Amoeba dysentery is one of the waterborne disease, but according to the primary level syllabus, we don't have amoeba in the syllabus. So we just learned about these three waterborne diseases under this topic called water. Now in standard 7, we want to learn about this new thing known as water pollution. In class 7, standard 7 now, I believe that is where I am now, we shall learn about this thing called water pollution and some of the ways of conserving this water. In standard 8 under this water again, we shall learn about something known as hard water and soft water. We have hard water somewhere. We also have soft water somewhere. So we have two types of water, hard water and soft water. That is class 8 work. Now today I want majorly to focus on this topic known as water pollution and some of the ways this water can be done what? Control, you cannot pollute it, and then ways we can conserve it. Because the government really wants us to have a clean environment and to conserve little water that we have. So we have got some ways of conserving water. And as I said earlier, the previous time I was here, this topic known as water never misses in any KCP exam. For example, this one in standard 7, last year, question number 26, they tested on this one, uses of water sparingly. 2018, question number 37, and surprisingly, I will tell you the reason, how the tips that they used to set these ones. In 2019, they set a question on using water sparingly. I will read it when I reach there. And then there's something funny, you will realize it if you're very keen. The choice to that answer was dog. I will read it. In the year 2018, they tested again a question on water class 7, standard 7. They usually test 4 questions. One of it is for class 7 because you need to conserve it. And they tested ways of recycling water, recycling. And the answer was choice dog. I will tell you the reason. In the year 2016 now, it was tested number 7. And this number 7, it was still use of water sparingly, using it sparingly. And surprisingly, the answer again was just choice dog. I will tell you the reason why. And then in the year the next year, we have got number 25. They tested a question there, and the question was recycling. They tested on recycling, but here the answer was choice boy. When I come back, when I reach there, if time allows me, I will tell you some of the reasons why the examiner used this one. They alternate recycling sparingly. In the year 2015, if I cannot forget, then the previous year, it was tested question number 9. But this one, I believe they tested on ways of reusing water, reusing. And this one, I believe the answer was around choice apple. 2014, I believe it was number 25, excessive use of fertilizer. Although the government now really wants us to focus on how we can conserve this water. That's why I've got sparingly, recycling. It alternates. And I'll give you the tips how they set it. Now, right away, let me go back to this topic known as water pollution. Standard 7. I'll begin by defining the word to pollute. What is to pollute? Water, we know it is colorless. Now we have got another terminology that emerges here, to pollute. To pollute simply means to make something dirty. When you make something dirty, that one you are polluting it. To make something to become contaminated. When you contaminate something, we say you have polluted it. The other definition for the word pollute is to make something impure. We said pure water, characteristic of pure water, it is free of any pathogens, any diseases, anything there. So water pollution, to contaminate, I have said like that, to pollute is to contaminate, to make something dirty, to make it impure, or to spoil something. We know water is very, very clear. It does not have any color. That's why we say it is colorless. But when we add there something like soil, it becomes brownish in color. So we say we have done what? Contaminated it. Or we have made it dirty. So that's why the word pollute, it has got 4 definitions. Now we come to this thing called water pollution. Now what is water pollution? We want to combine this thing, one of these things here, to find the definition of the word water pollution. Water pollution, it simply means it's the release of harmful substances. It is the release of harmful substances into the soil. It's the release of harmful substances into water. Harmful substances into the water sources. And when I talk, the keyword there is water sources. When we talk about the water sources, we learned them in standard 1. So you can see they link all these lessons here. Sources of water, we have got rain. Obviously that one we can realize that we shall find something that pollutes rain. We call it acid rain. We have got 2 gases that pollute it. When we come to the river, which is a source of water, that water can be contaminated. When we come to lakes, again, it can be contaminated. When we come to oceans, again, you will find it is contaminated. So water pollution is the release of harmful substances in water. The harmful substances that are released in this water, they are the ones that make it impure, or they are the ones that contaminate it, or they are the ones that spoil it. Any substance that is released in water, any now of these substances, these harmful substances that are released in water, we call them water pollutants. Any substance that pollutes water. So water pollutants are those substances, harmful substances that are released in water. And in standard 8, I believe, you shall learn about air pollutants. You realize that air pollutants are those harmful substances that are released in air. So here, water pollutants are those harmful substances that are released in water. So when you come to these harmful substances, you will find that we have got many of them and we shall learn them. So some of examples of this examples of these water pollutants. 1, examples of water pollutants. I want to list them down. Examples of water pollutants. Which are these water pollutants? Things that pollute water. Water pollutants, let me write their pollutants. The first one of these water pollutants, we have got 1, acid rain. Number 2, another water pollutant, those harmful substances that are released in water to contaminate it. We have got the soil particles. Number 3, another example of water pollutants we have is what we call oil spillage. When oil spills in water, I will explain it, how it pollutes this water. Number 4, we have got another water pollutant, and we call it human or animal activities. We have got human or animal activities. Another example of water pollutant, and this one I cannot forget it. It is what we call farm chemicals. And then lastly, they are always 6 in number. The last water pollutant, we have got industrial, release of industrial waste, untreated industrial waste. In this topic, I want to explain one by one. Acid rain is a water pollutant. Acid rain is made up, it comes up as a result of 2 gases. We have 2 gases that cause this rain, acid rain. The first gas here, we call it carbon dioxide. The second gas that causes acid rain, we have got sulfur dioxide. You can realize both of them, they end with the word dioxide, dioxide. We are not in high school level. They call carbon dioxide carbon 4 oxide. We are not there. So according to the syllabus, because we have got some primary level books, they have done what, change this word to be carbon 4 oxide. It's supposed to be carbon dioxide according to the syllabus, because that is what is tested in the KCP level. And then you have got sulfur dioxide. Now there are 2 things you're supposed to know here. Carbon dioxide, it is a component of air that is in the atmosphere. This carbon dioxide, when it is in the atmosphere, does not pollute air. But when it is in excess carbon dioxide pollutes the environment or the air. This one here, it should be excess again. So excess carbon dioxide, when it combines with sulfur dioxide, they are the one that cause acid rain. In the atmosphere, in standard 6, under composition of air, we learned that air comprises of many gases. We have got that carbon dioxide. I can begin with it. Carbon dioxide. Number 2, we said it has got nitrogen. Number 3, we said it has got oxygen. Number 4, we said it has got inert gases. Inert gases, which are also known as noble gases, or we call them rare gases. And we were told that carbon dioxide occupies 0.03%, nitrogen occupies 78%, oxygen occupies 21%, and then inert gases occupy 0.97%. You can realize oxygen is always where? In the air. Carbon dioxide, it is there again. But this carbon dioxide does not pollute the air. The one that pollutes it, it is when it is in excess. So excess carbon dioxide is the one that pollutes the environment. So acid rain is made up of 2 gases. And these 2 gases, we have got carbon dioxide, and then we have got sulfur dioxide. How is this excess carbon dioxide formed in the environment? When we cut down trees, it causes what we call a greenhouse effect. Yani the carbon dioxide accumulates in the atmosphere. So when it accumulates in the atmosphere and it combines with sulfur dioxide, which is a gas from industrial gases. It is a waste gas from industrial gases. It is also a waste gas from vehicle exhaust fume. When it combines with that excess carbon dioxide, it results to what we call acid rain. When acid rain falls down, it causes what we call a scorching effect on plants. 2, this acid rain, it also causes the death of aquatic animals. Those animals that live in water, they die as a result of this rain. And then 3, this carbon dioxide again, it destroys the corrugated iron sheets. Those buildings that have got iron sheets, corrugated, it simply means those iron sheets that have got some lines on it. The iron sheets that we use, they are always like that, wavy line. These are what we call the corrugated iron sheets. So when acid rain falls on these iron sheets, because it is a chemical, it reacts with the iron, it makes it to do what? To turn. It turns into brownish instead. So that one we say it destroys the corrugated iron sheets. The other water pollutant that I listed there is soil particles. Okay, before I forget, we have got these 6 water pollutants. There is a question they usually test mostly. The main water pollutant is which one? Among these 6 ones, which one is the main water pollutant? The main water pollutant is always soil particles. Some books, they say chemicals. No. The main water pollutant is soil particles. Why? When it rains, water on the ground, it rolls with some of the soil particles. They go and they are deposited on the rivers. And that's where we go and harvest sand. So the main water pollutant is soil particles. I believe that one I'm now okay. So these soil particles, they go inside water when it rains heavily, and that water is pulled down. Or when we cultivate near the river sources or water sources, you will find that these particles, they will be eroded into the water sources and they'll make it impure or they make it dirty. The other one I wrote is oil spillage. How does oil spillage pollute water? Oil spillage, first of all, it always occurs on large body masses. When I talk about large body masses, I mean they occur on something called large body, or where the main sources of water, where you shall find that a lot of water has accumulated there. So examples of these large body masses, we have got 1, oceans, which is the largest. 2, we have got seas. 3, we have got lakes. The large body masses we have here, we have got oceans. When you talk about oil spillage, now we are focusing on these large body masses. Oil spillage in oceans, oil spillage in seas, oil spillage in lakes. And oil spillage occurs in large body masses because oil is transported by large what? We have got some things that transport them like ship and ferries. So because they are big in size or huge, when they accidentally get knocked down because of the currents or they hit a rock or a cliff, you will find that this water will spill on the body masses and it will do what? It will become contaminated. So when this oil spills on the body masses, oil does not dissolve. In Standard 7, again, under properties of matter, you learn about mixability, or you learn about mixable and immiscible liquids. Water and oil does not mix. And because it does not mix, it makes 2 layers. Water, because it is more denser than oil, it forms the bottom layer. And then oil, because it is less denser than water, it forms the top layer. So when this oil spills in the body masses, it floats on the water. When it floats on the water, you realize that it will prevent air from entering inside the water. So those animals, aquatic animals that are found inside the water, or we call them submarine animals or marine animals, they will suffocate because they lack what we call oxygen. Secondly, suffocate because of lack of air. Allow me to write it. We have got some birds that are found on these large body masses. You look at flamingos. I'm not talking, okay, we have got Lake what? Nakuru here, Lake Elementaita. It is a large body mass. We have got pelicans, they are inside there. We have got swans, they are inside there. So when oil spillage occurs on these large body masses, it also affects these birds, aquatic birds, because they cannot swim properly or fly. Aquatic birds cannot fly. Why? Because these aquatic birds cannot fly. It hinders them from flying and swimming. Cannot fly and swim. Reason, because this oil, it makes the feathers to become slippery. In Standard 8, under animals, I believe my friend who is known as Stapleton Cuddy taught about it. We have got this and the characteristics of feathers. The feathers of bird are used for two things. One, they are used for turning. When they want to turn, the tail feathers usually stretch back like this. And then the other function of these feathers, they are used for braking. So when these birds want to fly, and then this oil, it goes or penetrates inside their feathers, they will be unable to fly because it makes them very difficult, or they feel uncomfortable and they cannot fly at a greater distance. Another water pollutant that are supposed to do what? To learn today. We have got improper disposal of industrial waste. Improper disposal of industrial waste. We have got another water pollutant there, and I'm talking about improper disposal of industrial waste. Industrial wastes are also known as effluents. Industrial waste, we also call it effluents. Right now, when we are talking about this water, we are not talking about industrial gases. We are not talking about those wastes that are released in water. We realize that for an industry to exist, one of the features or the characteristic, the industry should be constructed near a water source so that it can use that water to cool their machines. It can use that water to dispose their waste. So when these industries, they release this waste in the water sources and they have not treated it. So that is what makes this water impure. And that's why we classify improper disposal of industrial waste as a water pollutant. So industrial waste, when they are released in what we call body masses, they make it impure. And examples of this industrial waste that can pollute water, one, we have got untreated sewage. Untreated sewage. Untreated sewage is also known as raw sewage. They just release it without treating it. When it is released, it makes this water not good to support any of those animals that live there. Another example of this industrial waste that is released, we have got untreated chemical effluents. Untreated chemical effluents. There was a certain year, certain chemicals from another industry were released in a lake in Naivasha there, and they found all fish in that lake. They were floating. They died because of these chemicals. So when you release them, you make these animals to suffocate and they will die. Another one is waste oil that is used as coolants, waste oil from this industry that is used as coolants. When this oil is used to cool the engines or to cool everything, those machines, and then it is released in these water sources, it pollutes it and makes that water impure. Another water pollutant, because of time, I'll go very fast. I talked about improper disposal of human or animal waste. When we don't dispose this human waste properly, improper disposal of animal waste, improper disposal of animal waste. When we don't dispose it properly, like you release feces in water bodies, or animals go and graze near water sources, when those feces and cow dung and everything, the excreta, the solid waste from animals, we call it excreta. When it enters or penetrates into water, it makes it impure. Hence, that water becomes polluted. And then the last one, I have got excess use of farm chemicals. Excess use of farm chemicals. Excessive use of farm chemicals. When we talk about farm chemicals, these are chemicals that we use at home. We have got those chemicals that are used to control weeds. We call them herbicides. They are farm chemicals. We are not supposed to use them in excess. We have got those chemicals that are used to control parasites. We call them acaricides. These ones are not supposed to be used in excess. We have got those chemicals that are used to control worms. We call them nematicides. These ones, again, are not supposed to be used in excess. We have got those chemicals that are used to control something like pests. We call them pesticides. These ones are not supposed to be used in excess. And lastly, we have got many chemicals, but because of time, I'm just listing a few. We have got these ones that are used to make our plants to be healthy. We call them fertilizers. It is a topic on its own in Standard 7 under soil. We have got manures. That one does not pollute water. But these fertilizers, when they are applied and then you place it in excess, it pollutes water. In KCP 2014, number 25, they asked a question. Excessive use of fertilizers mainly pollutes, and the examiner chose choice A. The answer was soil and water. That was KCP 2014, number 25. So you realize these fertilizers, when they are used in excess, they scorch or they make the soil to become acidic. That soil becomes loose, and because the main water pollutant is soil particles, when the rain falls down or when it rains, that soil is carried into water bodies, and excess fertilizers, they encourage the growth of weeds or the growth of aquatic plants. So these fertilizers is mostly the one that is done what? Mostly tested. So if they ask you a question, use of excess fertilizers, what does it do to water? It increases the growth of aquatic plants. I believe I am through with that one. And then there's another water pollutants that I did not mention earlier. We have got this thing called floods. In Standard 2, we were told that when it rains a lot or a lot of rainfall, it causes what we call floods. And it is these floods that brings what we call waterborne diseases. It is these floods that will carry these soil particles inside the water sources. So when it rains heavily, these floods make the water impure, and it cannot be used for human consumption. Okay? I'm reminded my time is almost up, but I'm going on a little bit. Now, I want to look at now how can we do what? Ways of preventing this soil, or water pollution, ways of preventing water pollution. And it is very simple. If you know some of the ways, the examples of these water pollutants, you know now ways of doing what? Preventing it. Ways of controlling or preventing water pollution. Oh, water or soil. Sorry for that. Water pollution. So under the water pollutants, we said we have got these things known as excess fertilizer. So if you are using excess fertilizer, the only thing you need to do is controlled use of farm chemicals. Controlled use of farm chemicals. Don't use a lot of farm chemicals like fertilizers, herbicides in the farm, because they'll cause what we call a scorching effect. Number two, another way of controlling water pollution, another way is by practicing proper sanitation. You practice proper sanitation. In Standard 6, we are reminded that the best way of controlling waterborne diseases is by practicing proper sanitation or maintaining good hygiene. If you want to dispose your feces, you know the right place to do what? Dispose it. If it is cultivation, you're not supposed to do what? To go and cultivate. The other one, number 3, we said oil spillage is a water pollutant. So another way of controlling this water pollution is by clearing oil spills whenever they occur. Clearing oil spills whenever they occur. And remember, oil spillage occurs on large water body masses. A reminder, rivers, oil spillage does not occur on rivers because there is no single ship that can ferry or transport oil in rivers. So river is not a large body mass. So mark my words there, oil spillage does not pollute, or oil does not pollute water a source of water known as river or stream or well, something like that. It is only found on lakes, oceans, and seas. Another way of controlling water pollution, it is by controlled dumping of industrial waste. Controlled dumping of industrial waste. And how can industry help us on that? When they are releasing their waste, first of all, they are supposed to release treated industrial waste. Number 2, there's something we call on-site treatment. That one is learned in class 8 under ways of managing industrial waste. We have got reducing its generation. So we have got some ways the industries can use to prevent this water from being polluted. So the main one is treated industrial waste being done what? Released in water. Another one, treated sewage should be released there. When they release treated sewage, this one does not pollute water. Untreated or raw sewage is the one that does what? Pollutes it. And then the other thing, that one is normal, we prevent animals. And remember, human beings are animals. Prevent animals from grazing. Or even swimming or doing laundry near the water sources. Near water sources. So why are we supposed to prevent all these things here? You realize that when this water is polluted, farm chemicals, there are some effects they occur. We have got effects of water pollution on plants, We have got effects of water pollution on animals, which are living things. We have got effects of water pollution on even non-living things. When you talk about non-living things, mostly refer to the rocks, and the rocks here, we refer to the marbles, and we refer to the corrugated iron sheet. So plants, when oil spillage occurs, it blocks the root hairs of plants. So you'll find the plants will dry up. When acid rain falls on these plants, it will cause a scorching effect. To scorch is to burn. It burns up the plants, or it causes what we call withering. Withering kwa Kiswahili ni kunyauka. Animals, the aquatic animals, they obtain oxygen in water. When oil spillage occurs in them, one of the effects, it enables these animals not to get enough oxygen, so they die. Non-living things, this oil spillage again, okay, let me go to acid rain. I said it destroys the corrugated iron sheets. It breaks the marbles, or they use the word weathering of rocks. It makes them to break down. Okay. And lastly, I'm reminded my time is almost up. I want to look at ways of conserving water, which is mostly examinable by the government of Kenya in KCP level. Some of the ways of conserving water. Ways of conserving water. Remember, the government is discouraging us from polluting the environment. So we're supposed to conserve this water. So some of the ways of conserving it. Which one are they? Ways of conserving water. Some of the ways of conserving water. To conserve, first of all, we know it is to preserve or to use it properly without wasting it. So some of the ways that we are supposed to use to conserve water. One is reusing. As the word suggests, reuse. It is using it for more than one purpose. Number two, we have got recycling. Recycling simply means you treat water first before doing what? Using it again. Treating water before using it again. Treating water before using it. Like, for example, sewage water, it can be treated in a sewage plant. And then that water can also be used for the domestic uses. So recycling, it must pass through industry. So this one is industrial use of water recycling because it should be treated first. The key word there is to treat. Number three, under ways of conserving water, it is using water sparingly. Using water sparingly. To spare, it means using little by little. Using water sparingly, the main one that is tested here, we have got a type of irrigation that is mainly practiced here. We call it drip irrigation. Many learners, I have seen a question like that in Mentor Science, Standard 7 and the KCP Mentor. They usually draw a container and they ask learners, which type of irrigation is that? Choice A, they place there bottle irrigation. We don't call drip irrigation bottle irrigation. They call it drip because water comes out of this bottle in drops. Or when they're using pipes, water comes out of this bottle again or those pipes in drops. So we say it is dripping. That's why we call it drip irrigation. Overhead irrigation that is practiced on Lord Delamere Farm or sprinkler irrigation, it is not best. So the best way of conserving water is by using what we call drip irrigation. Another way, okay, let me just list them down first. Number 4, another way of doing what? Conserving water, we have got harvesting rainwater. Harvesting rainwater because it is very simple. When you're harvesting water, we use what we call gutters. You have ever seen the roofs? If it is corrugated iron sheets, they place something called gutters on them. The water is collected there, and then it is directed into what we call the tanks. So these tanks, you can go and fetch that water. So that one, again, will conserve the water that you have, because rain comes from clouds, according to science. Another way of conserving water, we have got mulching. Mulching, they usually combine it with what we call shading. The main reason for mulching is to conserve water. Mulches are those dry grasses that are applied on plants. So these mulches, when they dry up, we know they rot. When they rot, they become manure. But the main reason why we use mulches is to conserve water. Shades are made under a nursery bed. A nursery bed is also called a seedling. So if this is a seed bed or a nursery bed where you have placed these seedlings, you have planted some things here. Maybe this is black nightshade, which is known as managu, or cabbage, the seedlings of cabbage, or the seedlings of any plant. And then you want to prevent something like sunlight or heavy rainfall from reaching it. You can apply dry leaves here. You can apply dry, or what we call the banana leaves, on top of this thing. So you make something called a shade. So this shade, it prevents sunlight from reaching direct to these seedlings because they are a little bit delicate. So again, these ones, it also prevents water. When you have sprinkled water on these seedlings, this water that is now in the soil, we know when the sun is too hot, water evaporates from the ground. We have got the water cycle. Water, as it evaporates, you realize that this shade, it will prevent it from going upwards. So that's why we say shading. It is another way of conserving water. Mulches, again, it is the best way of conserving what? Water. Okay, not the best, but the best, the main reason for mulching, it is doing what? Conserving water. Another way of conserving water, we have got this one here. I've written harvesting, recycling, using water sparingly, and then lastly we have got constructing dams. Constructing dams. Dams, we said, they are also known as reservoir. These ones are built across the river, and they store large volumes of water. Many examiners, they test learners here. They know learners confuse between a dam and a porous dam. Porous dam is the other name for gabion. Gabions also, they are also known as check dam. So when an examiner uses the word porous dam, or uses the word check dam, or uses the word gabion, this one means the same thing, gabions. So don't confuse this other thing we have written here, dams, reservoir, with these three. So gabions, it is a way of conserving soil. It is also known as a porous dam or check dam. So this one here, when you construct these dams, they store large volumes of water, and we can use it when we are in need of it. Now, under these 6, I want just to look at ways of reusing water and ways of using water sparingly. Using water sparingly is mostly tested in exam and recycling. But recycling, I'm through with it because we are supposed to treat it before using it. It was tested in the year 2018. Reusing water was tested in the year 2015. And then you have got this other one known as using water sparingly, which was tested last year. And I believe if this year we had KCPA, they could have tested on what? Recycling, because they alternate. A partner year alternates with another partner year. So under this reusing water, I said reusing water is using water for more than one purpose. But this water should be in the same state. You have used this water to wash something. The water should be in the same state. Same state. And this water are used for more than one purpose. So, what are some of the ways of reusing water? We have got some of these ways of reusing water. The first one, water used to wash clothes can be used to clean toilets. Water used to wash clothes can be used to clean the toilets or bathrooms. You can see it is the same water. You used it to wash what? Your clothes. It is in dirty form, yes. But that water you don't want to do what? To spill it or to pour it somewhere. So you'll use it again to clean the toilets. So that one is one of the way of reusing water. You use it for another purpose or for a different purpose, but while it is still in the same state. Number two, under ways of reusing water. Water that is used to clean vegetables. Water used to clean vegetables it can be used to water the garden, the vegetable or the kitchen garden, to water the kitchen garden. I believe vegetables, you don't use soap to do what? To clean them. So that water, when you have cleaned something like the cowpeas or kunde, sukuma wiki, you have cleaned something like any other vegetable or coriander, that water you can do what? You can pour it in the kitchen garden. A small garden where I've planted something like what? Sukuma wiki. It can be used to do what? To irrigate it. So that one is reusing. It is in the same state, but you're using it for another purpose. And then number three, under ways of using water sparingly. Rinsing water can be used to clean shoes. When you have cleaned your house or you have washed your clothes and then you have got some water, obvious, it is somehow clean. You can use it again to clean your shoes. Okay? And then lastly, number two, because my time is going, I have got this thing called using water sparingly. Using water sparingly is mostly tested, and under using water sparingly, because of time, just allow me to write it a little bit very fast. Using water sparingly, one, I said you have got drip irrigation. You don't waste this water. Number two, you are supposed to close the leaking taps or repair them. Close or repair the leaking taps. Number three, you are supposed to practice what we call dry mopping. Dry mopping. When you are mopping, don't pour water on the floor. Just take the cloth or the rag or the duster, immerse it in water, and then you can use it to clean it. So dry mopping is another way of doing what? Using water sparingly. Another one, you are supposed to close taps when they are not in use. Close taps when not in use. When not in use. So these are some of the ways and some of the areas they usually test under this one. Using water sparingly. Drip irrigation is practice, and I drew a bottle there. We don't call it bottle irrigation. Number two, when the taps are leaking, you realize that water, you have not opened the taps, but water is coming out. You are supposed to repair it. So that is some of the way of using water sparingly. In Standard 8 under energy, you realize that they say you are supposed to repair the leaking taps to reduce the cost of pumping. So you can realize that if you want to conserve this water, because this water comes from a source, so you're supposed to repair any tap that is leaking. Dry mopping, I've said that one, and then close taps when not in use. Because of time, Allow me to read some of the questions that have been sent by you. My first question, allow me a little bit. I can see time is not on my side. Somebody has said like this: good morning, teacher. What are pathogens? This one I tackled last. I said pathogen is the other name for bacteria. The germs that are found in water, when you contaminate it, we call them pathogens. Hi KU TV, I'm Edwin Chapter from Kakamega. I appreciate all efforts you make to help learners I'm gaining. Thank you, Edwin. You are my namesake. Welcome every day. Another one, somebody has asked here, is floods a source of water pollutant? It is not a source of water pollutant. It is an example of water pollutant. It's okay. It's an example of water pollutant. Hello, teacher. What gases make acid rain? It's Ian from Meru. Ian, the gases that make acid rain, we have two. I listed them down. We have got one called industrial gases. Okay, we have got these industrial gases. These ones, the gas that comes from it is sulfur dioxide. And then two, we have got excess carbon dioxide. So these ones, they come mainly from industrial gases and vehicle exhaust fumes. So when they ask you the two gases, they both end with dioxide. So we have got carbon dioxide and then sulfur dioxide. Then another one we have got here, Maxwell, does drought cause soil erosion? Maxwell, drought does not cause soil erosion. We are underwater, but the main causes of soil erosions, they were listed in standard 6. Soil erosion is taught in class 6. Soil particles, the type of soil causes what? Soil erosion. But drought does not. Okay? Somebody has said here, excuse me, what is scorching? Scorching is found in Spotlight, standard 8. It is found also in Menta standard, KCP Menta. Scorching is the other name for withering. Withering, they tested it in KCP 2015. There was a picture of tomato plant and it had withered. They asked which sign of ill health is this? If you can assess KCP 2015, you can see what scorching is. So scorching is to burn, or scorching is to wither. Let me use an example. Sukuma wiki, when it is too hot, you will find that the leaves usually do what? They droop out. They look as if they want to fall down. So that is what we call withering or scorching. Somebody is saying here, I don't think that harvesting rainwater is a way of conserving water. Okay. According to the syllabus, primary syllabus level, ways of conserving water, in fact, they begin with harvesting. We harvest water using what we call gutters. It is a way of conserving it. So when it rains, that water you don't want to go like that. You can make a storage tank. So when you harvest that water, you can use it when, we have got different seasons. When you have got this one for rainfall, like right now when it is raining, that water you can collect it and you can use it for another time for future use. So that's why we group it as a way of conserving water. Good morning, teacher. What is effluent? Effluent is what we call, effluent, I said, is the other name for industrial waste. Industrial waste, again, you'll find, when you go to this thing called industrial gases, it has got also another name. When you go to this feces, raw sewage, it has got also another name. Okay? Question 2, what is the effect of having many plants growing in water bodies? Effects of having many plants growing in water bodies. I can use an example of Lake Victoria. We have got the water hyacinth that grows there. This water hyacinth, they have done what? Resulted to competition of oxygen with the aquatic animals, and they die. It has limited the number of fish that are found inside their Nile perch. Nowadays, they cannot harvest the way they used to do what? To fish them out. So it has affected them. So they can die or the number reduces. Good morning, teacher. It's Martin from Meru. Is soap and detergent water pollutant? Is soap and detergent water pollutants? That's a good question. Soap is grouped under detergent. Jik is grouped under bleaching agent. So soap, because it's a detergent, it is made using chemicals. When you go to Form 4, you learn about the formation of these soaps and how it is formed, how they mix chemicals and then make them. When you use them, or when we go to wash our clothes in water sources, we definitely pollute that water. Remember we said, to pollute something is to add something or to make it impure. Water is colorless. It is tasteless. When you add their soap, I grew up in a village. When you go to bathe in river sources, you will find that you will attract something called snakes because they are attracted by that smell of what? The soap. So you can realize that this soap, surely, it is an example of water pollutant. Now, thank you for all the questions today. I'm grateful for hosting you today. Thank you, and have a blessed day. And remember to stay safe, and wash your hands, and sanitize yourself. Thank you.